Welcome to another spoiler warning with myself, Tom Colohue. Today we have quite a lot to talk about. A big story that's broken in the last couple of hours is as regards Carl Anderson wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom, the upcoming New Japan show at the beginning of January, where Sasha Banks is rumoured to make an appearance. We're going to break down exactly what is happening there, who's under contract, who's not under contract, who's reporting what, and where the information is coming from. But also on the agenda today, we will be talking plans for the Raw Women's Championship. We're going to be talking Ric Flair and Seth Rollins heat, the rumour of Brock Lesnar versus Gunter, which originated from Zero News. I know it's come out from Wrestling News Co. today, but the first report was by Zero News on that one. We're going to talk a little bit about Dave Meltzer's reporting about Sasha Banks, particularly how it very heavily echoes my reporting about Sasha Banks, but several weeks out. Ronda Rousey talking about going for the tag team championships, Roman returning ahead of schedule, and more, a little bit more about what our plans are for the channel and videos going forwards as well. So quite a bit to tuck into, but as usual, please remember this is an Ask Me Anything stream. You can ask whatever questions you like and I will endeavour to answer them as best I can. Be sure to hit like, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, and be sure to follow on Twitch as well. Starting out, we have a question from Kevin Carpenter, and never not seen for a little while. Says, do you see New Japan ending its working agreement with AEW for WWE? And if you're New Japan, would working with WWE be a good idea? Working with the biggest name in the industry is no question a great idea. If you're someone, for example, let's say Sammy Guevara, and you get offered a championship match against Roman Reigns, I don't care where you work, that's going to make your career, so jump on in. Similar situation for me, more on that shortly. Carlos says, hello Tom, could you see Sasha staying a free agent and working with any promotion like New Japan, AEW, AAA, WWE throughout the year on a per appearance salary? The WWE would not be interested in doing so. They only plan to build talent that they can then make money off. That said, if she does become a free agent, as I did mention a while back, that would be the way that she wants to do it. Justin says, Carl Anderson, can you confirm or deny the report that he'll be at Wrestle Kingdom? The article just says multiple sources. More on that one shortly. Alicia says, hi Tom, good day everyone. Any update on Naomi's return? Do you expect her at the Royal Rumble? I do expect her at the Royal Rumble, but I don't have a formal update. Just a personal expectation. Hey Dylan, I was thinking about you a couple of days ago. Good to see you again, mate. I hope you're doing good. And thank you kindly for that 17th month of subscription. You have been here a long time, sir. Welcome. Jonathan says, can't wait to hear today's Discord. This is a stream, but I get what you're going for, and I like the enthusiasm. Jermaine says, I can't wait for Tom to set everyone straight on Sasha Banks news, because Dave Meltzer and SRS are spewing a lot of stuff right now that doesn't make sense. Jonathan Rodriguez adds facts. Richard Smith says, hello all, hope all is well, and I hope the same is true of you too, Richard. Martin says, hey Tom, hope it's a great stream. Pardon me. I heard some rumblings that Mickie James may be returning from the Rumble. Do you know anything? I'm asking mainly because of the Nick Aldis rumours. Sorry, pardon me. There are plenty of rumours about Nick Aldis. There are no rumours that I am aware of as regards Mickie James returning for the Royal Rumble once again. She is under contract with Impact and she will continue to be so. Simon says, what's going on with Sasha, Tom, with all the news? I'll be speaking on that one shortly. Martin is agreeing with Jermaine. David Leary says, the great Tom Colohue. You flatter me, David. Welcome to the show. Spiderball says, hello, Tom. Funny to see other wrestling media outlets talking about Sasha wrestling in New Japan. The most accurate wrestling news belongs to spoiler warning. I laughed about Meltzer talking about Sasha wrestling in New Japan in 2023. Meltzer said Sasha wrestling in Japan didn't go through WWE. Yeah, there are certainly suggestions that that's not the case now. Dylan says, howdy. How you doing, Dylan? Great to see you, mate. Ross says, evening all. Evening, Ross. Riyadh says, hey, Tom. Hope you've had a fantastic weekend. I hope the kids are doing well. They are doing well. It's been a hell of a weekend. Really busy. I did fall asleep on the couch at 6 p.m. like a proper old man on Sunday, but we were all very, very tired. Thanks for asking. Jaden says, hey Tom, any Sasha news? There will be a bit on Sasha later. Marcel says, hi Tom. Hi Marcel. Joey says, hi Tom, have you heard anything in Roman defending the titles both nights? Joey, I've been speaking on that one for about a month and a half now. That the potential for that to happen. This is one of those where you definitely heard it here first. Cam says, hi Tom, my fave. Thank you, Cam. Appreciate that. Welcome. Venom says, WrestleMania and Pro Wrestling Unlimited are reporting Sasha's not going back to WWE because they heard it off Dave Meltzer and she's asking for too much money. Yeah, they're parroting what Meltzer says. Peter says, sad that Jamie Noble has finished with the WWE. It is, but he'll move on to different things, and whatever challenges are ahead of him, I wish him the best of luck with it. He's been an integral part of their success over the years, and he's one of those where if you interview someone, his name will come up, just in glowing terms. It's an absolute crime that he doesn't get more credit than he does. Spider-Boss says, how long, Tom, until we see PWInsider reporting Sasha re-signing with WWE? Well, we'll see how that one goes. Peter says, evening, young Tom, my lad. I've just said I'm a proper old man falling asleep at 6 yesterday, but here we are. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. Cam says, I just have to know, is Billie Kay in talks for the Rumble? I know there has been discussions with Billie Kay. I don't necessarily believe either they want her back or she wants to come back without her partner. Spider-Boss says, wrestling media outlets like PWInsider, Wrestling Observer and Fightful shouldn't be talking about Sasha's news because they just speculate. Justin says, it's truly amazing they can say in one breath, Carl is going to Wrestle Kingdom, and then say Sasha is going to Wrestle Kingdom, hence done. Correct. Matthew Johnson says, evening, Tom. Happy Monday. Hope you are well. I'm very well, thank you, Matthew. It's been a very, very good year and a very, very good time to be Tom Colohue. And I hope it's a very good time to be Matthew Johnson as well. Cam agrees, says, oh yeah, suckish, very underrated. Aled says, could the Carl Anderson deal with New Japan be the same thing WWE are doing with Sasha? More on that later. Carmelina says, hi Tom, what do you think is Sammy's big night going to be like on Friday? Sami Zayn. I hope it's not Festival of Friendship stuff, but also I hope it is Festival of Friendship stuff, which is a great thing if he's Sami Zayn. Venom says, I'm sure this past Monday I reported Sasha is back with WWE, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sick of everyone else's. Who reported Sasha's back with WWE on Monday? Venom, can you clarify that one for me? Stuart says, evening Tom, another busy news night it seems. Indeed, Stuart, there's always something that pops up after I've already made it. Johnny said, thanks for having the most accurate news weeks before we hear it anywhere else. Love watching Spoiler Warning every week. You're the best in the biz. Thank you, Johnny, appreciate that. Dylan says, I think the YouTube channel last time I was here was just over 1k, now it's almost 2. Congrats, guy. Thank you, Dylan, appreciate that. I know that you were a huge part of getting us over that line with the work you did, and at times, a couple of extra accounts. And I very much appreciate that. We have continued to grow. In August, we hit a record of 232 viewers live in one stream at one time. And it's been going from strength to strength. It's great to see you, mate. It really is. Naz says, hey, Tom, happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too, Naz. Spider-Boss says, who knows Sasha? More money isn't important for her. I agree, and I stand by it. FDR says, hello, Tom. Nice sweater there. What did I miss? Well, you missed the fact there is some red panda onesie. It's not quite a sweater, but it is in spoiler warning colours. It is in spoiler warning colours. Also panda. Connor says, hey Tom, hope your day's been good. What is your predicted outcome for the tag title match this Friday? Liv and Tegan's title shot feels kind of rushed, doing too much too quickly with them as a duo. It is just a way to introduce them. I don't necessarily see them winning the championships. That said, I didn't see the New Day winning their championships at NXT Deadline either. Cam says, Tyler Breeze posted a promo for introducing the Tyler Breeze character. I assume he's teasing a return. Yep, negotiations have been ongoing for a while about adding wrestling dates to his up, down, down contract. At the moment, it's just up, down, down. Triple H wants him back, at least for some time in NXT. I'd imagine he's going to pop up on the main roster as well. That's another one we've been discussing for a while here. Joey says, is it true that William Regal is going to be vice president in WWE? What will he do in his new role? No, he will not be vice president. I don't know where the vice presidents come from. He won't be vice president of the WWE. Hector says, Tom, don't feel bad. My friend, as a fellow older fella, I feel your pain. Here in my part of the US, it gets dark at 5, so I'm always falling asleep in my recliner. You at least get a recliner. I was on a couch. It was not comfy, but I was very tired. I put on an episode of Sherlock that wasn't very good, like the one episode that's not very good, and just drifted. Spider-Boss says, Sasha Banks and Carl Anderson wrestling in New Japan Wrestling Kingdom. Where we heard that, cough, cough, spoiler warning. Just as an aside on that, I very much appreciate both of you on Twitter, Ross and Michael, for putting me over as you have. Michael saying, look at that, WWE and New Japan actually working together. Just saying, someone mentioned this last Friday. Cough, Colohue, cough. And then Ross saying, not exactly news if you listen to Colohue on YouTube and Twitch at 10 p.m. I've retweeted both of you. I'll continue to do that anytime I am put over by any of you wonderful people. I very much appreciate you all. Venom says, I don't care what all these pathetic little fake news channels are reporting. If Tom says Sasha's coming back, she's coming back. You proved this with your report on Bray Wyatt. I was the only one to report that. But what I will say is quite often I do see, every now and then on Twitter, people sort of misinterpreting what I'm saying. So, let's stay chill, guys. Let's stay chill. And Dylan, I'll get to on that one. I may have misspoken, I suspect. May have misspoken, but let's talk about it afterwards. It'd be nice to have a proper catch-up and see how you're doing. Justin says, who do you think wins, Bayley or Bliss? I'm assuming Bliss. I'm assuming Bayley, just so we get one more Bayley versus Bianca match and open the possibility for our title news. We will be speaking on that a little bit more shortly. That says, big up Tom, anything announced for tonight regarding a title match? No, not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Gotcha, Venom, thank you. Noob says, hello Tom, how are you today? Doing very well, thank you. Welcome, Noob. Simon says, do you see Alexa possibly winning tonight and going to face Bianca Belair next week for the Raw Women's title? More on that shortly. Venom, just to be clear, I have not said Sasha Banks has signed a new deal and will be returning. I've not said that. I haven't. I've laid out the information that we have and told you all that this is the clearest indicator I've seen that Sasha Banks will be returning, and certainly what has happened since has only made me more certain. Miss AC says, I thought the other Sasha Banks signed a new deal with WWE, now they're reporting she's done with WWE. Confusing. Yep, quite confusing. Lots of people reporting very different things. What I have reported is that Triple H is actively bending over backwards in negotiations to convince Sasha Banks to stay. I also reported a week ago that if Sasha Banks is not convinced by January, she may become a free agent. Michael says, hi Tom. Hello Michael, I've just put you over for putting me over on Twitter. FTR says, nice. Spider-Boss says, FTR losing their tag team titles could be the start of FTR leaving AEW. The start of FTR leaving AEW was actually in September. Sean says, hello Tom. Hello Sean. Richard Smith says, I can't see WWE letting Sasha walk out of her contract that easily, considering she walked out. That does not really play into it at this point. They are trying to approach it with a clean slate. Kang says, hi Tom, any info on Randy Orton return? Is 2023 possible? 2023 is possible, everything is on the table, but at the moment there is no guaranteed return date for a reason. Razar says, a lot of people are reporting that The Rock is locked in for a match at WrestleMania. Any truth to this? No, at this point in time, to my knowledge, The Rock is not booked for a match at WrestleMania. Even Dave Meltzer, who reported that The Rock was being considered for a match at the Royal Rumble, well, to win the Royal Rumble, has subsequently said, oh, people got way overexcited about that report. Bayley, welcome, says, adding William Regal is a great move for NXT talent development. And yes, it really is. He's going to be integral to it. Spider-Boss says, PWInsider reported that Regal will be vice president in WWE. Are you sure? Because he's not going to be. Do you mean, for example, vice president of talent relations or vice president of development? Or do you just mean vice president? Because he's not going to be. Tom Talks Rubbish says, big love, Tom. Should have gone away today, but England cannot handle snow. Hopefully going tomorrow. England cannot handle snow. It is a joke and a half. Hopefully you get away nice and soon. Venom says, what's up with NXT UK stars like Gallus, Tyler Bate and Dragunov being on NXT for a while and then disappearing forever? Well, to be fair, most people on NXT have been on NXT for a while and start to disappear shortly. There wasn't really a plan for them. NXT UK was closed off without a real exit strategy in place for most of the talent there. Dragunov, I feel and hope, will land on his feet and do extremely well. Sean says, Jamie Noble wrestled his final WWE match at a live event yesterday. Yes, he did. It was quite fun to see and respectful to see how WWE promoted that. Spider-Boss says, with the record of Sasha Banks, spoiler warning, never missed. Alex says, any return date planned for Charlotte? No official date as of yet, but I'm expecting her back in January in time for the Royal Rumble. Venom says, it's like they have one feud and then disappear for good. What's up with that? Too many people in NXT, not enough time for everyone on TV. Sean says, it's the title match next week or at the Rumble. More on that very shortly. Carmelina says, do you think that'll be on the Raw today? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Now says, FDR return before or after Mania? Looks like after Mania at this point. Douglas Bino says, maybe a New Japan star in the Royal Rumble will happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Fresh says, any Naomi news? Not at this point in time. No, I still personally believe we are going to see her at the Royal Rumble, but that is a belief, not a report. So I says, hey Tom and all, hope everyone's safe, warm and well. I've been out and about in a red panda onesie. That's the world we live in now. Welcome, Si, how you doing? Leo says, is Sasha out of WWE or is it not true? At this point in time, I can confirm Sasha Banks is still under WWE contract. Those who've been following Spoiler Warning and watching will know how long that will last for. Spider-Boss says, I think that people as Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp get mad when we put you over, Tom, because you're always just 10 steps ahead of them. I wouldn't say I'm always 10 steps ahead of them. Both of them have been known to do very, very good work, but they certainly would not say the same back, despite the work that I do. That doesn't mean I have to be a bad person myself, so I can sit here and say at times they do very good work. Hector, welcome, says, in your personal opinion, do you honestly think all this Sasha contract mess is worth it as far as WWE goes? At some point you've got to weigh the cost-benefit analysis, especially if she's asking for a substantial amount, like what's being reported. The cost-benefit analysis is constantly being weighed by Nick Khan backstage in WWE headquarters to work out exactly what is happening. Nick Khan, if you're not aware, is the president of the WWE at this point in time. He was given that role while Vince McMahon was in charge, and he is the one who has the final say. That said, Triple H is still happily bending over backwards, and as far as I'm concerned, if Triple H thinks it's worth doing, it likely will be. I personally don't think it's about the money. Every suggestion that I've had tells me that it is not about the money. So the cost benefit is more weighing up the benefit of the drama, I would say. The WWE would feel somewhat embarrassed if she did not return. Also, Triple H has big plans for her. Omega shouts, Tom Colohue. Welcome, Omega. Dylan says about people getting mad when I'm put over. I'd imagine it's because most of the things Tom says they put behind paywalls. True, and you guys have seen that. After all, my reporting about Sasha Banks over the last few days has come out of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, so you have to sign up to the newsletter to see it. Alex says, I want Cody to face Roman at Mania. Your wish may indeed be what happens. Fresh says, will Nia Jax return to the WWE? To my knowledge, there has been no contact whatsoever between the WWE and Nia Jax since Triple H took over, or in fact since she was released. Will says, Mr. Tom, how does it feel to be proven right with the WWE wrestlers working with New Japan and still have so-called wrestlers coming at you? Well, it was literally Friday that I said about this whole working partnership and the agreement in place. It's very nice to have that reassurance pretty much instantly. But the most important thing for me, I know people are constantly on the attack. I know I don't get the rub of the green. I know I don't really get respected in the field. I know who the real supporters are. I know who actually pays attention and who actually listens. It's the people here. Right now we have 107 viewers across 2 platforms. We have, 1,870 free subscribers at the moment. Please remember to hit like and subscribe if you haven't, by the way. And as far as I'm concerned, you're not just my audience, you're people who actually care about the facts and the truth. So you're the guys I want to spend my time with. Also, if I was making it up, as I have at times been accused of, surely you'd be the guys who know about it. Carlos says Regal will be vice president of William Regal. Spiderball says, I'm surprised Tyler Bate hasn't appeared in NXT since his loss against Bron Breakker. I'm not. Backwoods says, hey Tom, how are you? Just got off work and was wondering if I missed much. We have not got to the news just yet. What I do find in these streams, particularly now when we have 107 viewers and 25 likes, please remember to hit that thumbs up, is that what will happen is that at the beginning of the show we have 25, 30 people. If I'm saying the news there, by the time we get to this point where we have 100 or so, what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to say, what have I missed, what have I missed, what have I missed? So I don't mind sort of answering questions and then getting to the news. If this doesn't work for you guys, let me know, because you are the audience. Richard Smith says, is Tyler Bate finished with WWE? Maybe. I hope so. Carmelina says, do you think that the Usos are going to be on Raw? Yes, I do. I think the Bloodline will be on Raw and SmackDown for a while now. Simon says, do you see Tessa Blanchard? No, I definitely don't see Tessa Blanchard being on Dynamite. Venom says, do you see the New Day holding the NXT tag belts for that long? Not at all. I didn't see them winning it though, so I could be wrong. Alex says, any call-up to the main roster of Indy Hartwell happening soon, or do you not know? I've been told a few times it is going to happen. I haven't been given a date, but they may be waiting on being shown the way. FTR says, should FTR return to WWE, will they be using their current name, or will they return to being the Revival? My suspicion is that they will return to being the Revival, though they may argue otherwise. Venom says, why do I see the Usos trying to take the NXT tag belts of the New Day, considering that's something the New Day has done that the Usos haven't? I don't personally see it, though if the New Day are going to win, I would go for it. What I would like, and what I feel is more likely, is that they'll have a match, and then it'll turn into a six-man tag, with Solo and Braun. Thomas says, hi Tom, do you think that Sasha has a clause in her contract that states that she can work a couple of matches for New Japan, a bit like Carl Anderson has? Maybe, more on that shortly. Nas says they should be FTR, but I think they'll be the Revival. Spider-Boss says, I'll never understand Sasha Banks' crew, those people are weird. Debatable point, I mean, some people would consider you to be part of that crew, Spider-Boss, though I do get what you're saying. DC says, good day Tom, always a pleasure to watch your live streams on YouTube. How much will it benefit the NXT talent to be on this upcoming tour? Massively. One of the biggest problems and the biggest reasons for NXT 2.0 is because people go from NXT to the main roster and they go from working once a week to working 7 days a week, and it's a huge change and it drains them and the quality dips. They need to be prepared for the rigorous demands. So Triple H having a wider roster that only work 3 or 4 days a week on the main roster, and also bringing NXT talent up to 2 or 3 days a week, really does help. Venom says, if Sasha does return, I hope she wins one of the big titles. Do you see this happening? Yeah. Peter says, do you think Sasha has in her contract not to let anyone know what her contract is apart from you? I don't know what her contract is either. Let's be fair. Alex says, Tony Khan said he wants New Japan involved with Ring of Honor on the media scrum. Do you think New Japan would work with Ring of Honor and WWE at the same time? Yeah, no reason they wouldn't. Joey says, I saw some reports that Matt Cardona could be coming in with Chelsea Green. Do you know if there's any interest from WWE? Small interest, somewhat limited. They would not be paying much if he did come in. I don't think there's much interest from him. Venom says Nia Jax shouldn't be brought back. She's not safe in the ring and is known for constantly injuring her opponents. Christoph, welcome. Says, hi Tom, just arrived. Did I miss anything? What's up with Dave's breakdown yesterday about Sasha? More on that shortly. You've not missed anything yet, Christoph. I've not gotten to the news just yet, but there is still plenty of it to share. I'm trying out something new where I catch up with chat, then start talking news. I'll put in the description afterwards when the news starts so people can stay caught up. Spider-Boss says, read what my friend Carolyn says about you, Tom. It's like reading SRS. Your friend Carolyn follows me, by the way, which I found interesting. FDR says, hit them likes and subscribes, otherwise you're not going to feel very oozy. It's the oosiest thing you can do. The oosiest thing you can do is subscribe to Tom Colohue. Oozy Hugh. Oozy Colohue. Colohue? No. I've gone off on one now. Oozy Who, we can get behind that. Peter said, I care about Cameron as well. Needs to be graded from the cupboard. Connor, you mean Pete there? Connor lives in the cupboard. Spider-Boss says, France has become the tribal chief of the World Cup. Argentina's still very much there. Hector says, just imagine being Raj Giri. He got ripped off from his original Sasha report of her being a free agent. Now with the New Japan report, news he's trying to validate his original report. I guess we'll see at the end of the day who is really right. We will. One way or the other, we will on that one. Though, as I say, there's a lot still up in the air. I've reported what I can. But I can't sit here and say I know everything because I simply don't. Michael says, I don't mind if people don't like Sasha the wrestler. Everyone has their favourites. Very fair. It bothers me when people call her some spoiled brat when they don't know what happens, and there's consistently conflicting reports. I agree completely there, Michael. Much like I've been a union rep in the past, a walkout when conditions are simply not right for not just you but the other people, I get it. Do you know who else walked out that people aren't laying into right now? Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes walked out on the WWE. He started AEW. Then he left AEW to come to WWE. Nobody's laying into Cody Rhodes right now. Cameron says, just keep doing you, mate. Smashing it. Thank you very kindly, Cameron. Welcome, Ghost. Thank you very kindly for renewing your subscription on Twitch for a 17th month. I still can't entirely believe I'm this close to have been 2 years into it. Next month, on the 15th, it will be 2 years as a live streamer. What a world we live in. 2 years. And my God, has it been worth it. No, Simon, I don't see Nia Jax being Saraya's mystery partner. I see Thunder Rosa being Saraya's mystery partner. Dom says, got here late, got to watch the beginning later. But I've been keeping up with your show. Is the Bray Wyatt versus Roman for WrestleMania over? Because lately I heard you say Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. or The Rock. Dom, my conversation about Bray Wyatt being a potential challenger for Roman Reigns was very brief. It was discussed backstage, which is what I was reporting at the time. I didn't say it's definitely going to happen. I said it's been a discussion, but it looks like it has not gone much further. They are playing a very slow game with Bray Wyatt, and that looks set to continue, which is a shame. But yes, I can say, Dom, it's not looking likely at this point in time. Cody Rhodes is certainly what I think is more likely. Tom Colohue, Dylan, cracked it. Joey says, what is the plan for the New Day with the NXT tag titles? To appear on WWE main roster TV with the championships, potentially get him on a pay-per-view. It's just further advertising for NXT as they go a bit more live with a bit wider field. Spider-Boss says, any wrestling news saying Sasha asked more money than Becky and Ronda? It's lying. Yeah, pretty much. Naz says, last comment before the news, but I like this format. Appreciate that, Naz. It's real nice to know that things are working for individuals. Obviously, you guys are my audience, so this show is made for you, and it needs to continue to be made for you and all of you, because what I care about most is giving you guys what you're looking for. I don't think I actually read out what Ghost actually commented, so I'm just going to do that now. Ghost says, hi Tom and chat, hope everyone is doing well. How is everyone? If everyone can just say how they're doing, that'd be great. Venom says, Tom, you'll be challenging Roman Reigns on SmackDown for his title, should he be there? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's already been reported by Meltzer. I will be challenging Roman Reigns very shortly for both championships, though I will only be winning one. You heard it here first. Peter says, Colohue, see, I get confused. Simon Roykeen, I like watching him. I wouldn't like working with him. Eric says, Tom, I'm confused about Sasha stuff. Is she staying or going? More on that shortly. Dylan says, hey, 17-month gang. Spider-Boss says, I'll never understand why Argentinians mock their rivals every time they win. It was a very high emotion match, to be fair. Mike says, any news on the rumoured new belts? Nothing I've heard. I never heard anything about rumoured new belts beyond the idea that the Intercontinental Championship would be changed. We haven't seen any new tag team championships, but Friday may be different on that one. Barry says, hello everyone. 2 years, don't they fly by as you get old and not many left? Lovely, Barry. Lovely. I'm 11 years older than you. Riyadh says, Tom, do you see Bray and LA Knight in a match before the end of the year, or is it more likely for the Rumble? I think they'll really drag this one out, which is a shame. Carlos says, give us Brock versus Gunter at WrestleMania. Big meaty men slapping meat. David Leary is great. Carmelina is good. Dylan says, I'm doing all right, but one of my favourite composers died today, so kind of weird. Sorry to hear that, mate. That's an interesting one, unfortunately. Who is the favourite composer? Well, sorry, who was the favourite composer now, I suppose. Riyadh is great. Justin is doing well. FDR is good. And thanks for asking. No worries. Also, thanks, Ghost, for asking. Venom says, thing is, if Usos go after NXT tag belts and win, it would only make sense for Roman to go for Bron Breakker. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe Bron Breakker wins the Rumble. Matthew is feeling oozy. Backwards is sore AF, but still doing good. Fred says, happy Monday. Stuart is grand. Ed is still waiting for Tom versus Shane. Hair versus Best in the World trophy. Well, if Shane hadn't got himself kicked out of the company, maybe we could have got started. How you doing, Ed? Hope you're well. Brad's doing fantastic. Nas is doing well. Wrestling-wise curious to see Sasha's future and really wants a Four Horsemen four-way. Raleigh, welcome, says, I've got flu, so Raw better be good to cheer me up. Sorry to hear that, mate. Hope you feel better and hope Raw is great. Yeah. Spider-Boss says, Sasha wrestling in New Japan, Roman doing double duty at WrestleMania, and WWE working on a partnership with New Japan. All was first said here on Spoiler Warning. I've got a pretty good record and I'm very proud of it. Michael says, I did like how Meltzer said nobody in New Japan knew about Sasha. I guess that means she books her own matches without telling anyone. Outside of that, it's possible, of course, that she just bought a ticket. It's not impossible. Christoph says, from what I've heard, WWE is really flip-flopping between Becky versus Ronda or Becky versus Bayley at Mania. Which one do you think it's going to be? Thank you, Christoph, for trying to transition me into the news. That will be our top story. We are very close to getting there. Richard says, I'm good. And you? Very good, thank you. That says, Tom, is it true about Cena's 30th comeback? 30th? 30th? I mean, 30th? He's coming back soon. Ross says, very well, Tom, thank you. Thanks for the mention earlier, and I'll continue to put you over with the effort you put in. Hope you and family are well. We're doing very, very well, thank you. Had an exhausting weekend, but it was worth it. Marcel says, I don't feel so good. Have corona in bed listening to you. Sorry to hear that, Marcel. I hope you feel better soon. Hopefully, listening to this will perk you up. I know that's egotistical, but let's say it anyway. You chose it, and I hope we can find some way to bring some cheer. It's nearly Christmas after all. Barry says, doing well, thank you for asking, Tom. Dylan says, Angelo Badalamenti. He did Twin Peaks among many other David Lynch projects. Sorry to hear it, mate. Daz is good. Ghost is also doing good, just focusing on your final exams this week. I have 4 months left until graduation. Okay, I get that. Revision, focus. Hard work sometimes when you get that close to graduation. Best of luck to you. Riley says, hope Jonah or Bronson Reed comes back to WWE because he wasn't given a chance by Vince. Would be different with Triple H due to the NXT connection. Possibly. Hector says, did you have the opportunity to see Harry Kane's penalty kick? Nope, didn't watch any of it. Darnell says, hey Tom. Hey Darnell. Dom says, I read that Asuka may be part of the Wyatt Six, not Alexa Bliss. I heard Asuka could be under a character change. That is a whole lot of people reading into what she is posting at the moment. She's certainly teasing it. Venom says, if the 4 Horsewomen happens at Mania, who do you see being the favourite to win? Charlotte, because Charlotte. Becky. Lil Fettuccini says, once Cody does win the belt, whom does he feud with? Probably a little more with Roman, but probably more likely immediately Seth. Ed says, I think the men that come back for scene on the December 30th SmackDown. Thank you, Ed. Yes, that is happening. Spider-Boss says, I love to see this Becky versus Bayley and Becky versus Ronda match. Would be far too late, especially how Ronda's matches have been booked. Becky would not allow the match to go like that. Code says that. Hi, Code. Alan is on a train watching. Well, thank you kindly, Alan. That's commitment. Riley says, I think Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. Wait and see, my personal opinion. At the moment, Uncle Howdy is still Bray, but we'll see who it becomes. El Rodriguez says, I'm so happy Tegan Nox is back. I had the biggest feeling that she would come back to the WWE. El, you were correct. Jonathan says, adrenaline in my soul. Venom says, do you see us getting WWE Horsewomen versus UFC Horsewomen anytime soon? Nope. Ever. Lil Fettuccini says, thoughts on the New Day winning the NXT Tag Team Championships. Good for the Tag Team Championships, not so good for New Day. And Barry says, I do have a spoiler for AEW. I read they might finally make a good episode of Rampage next year, but I have my doubts. Ooh. Rodriguez says, as you can see, Tegan Nox is my favourite wrestler. A lot of excitement about Tegan Nox in the stream. You'll find people who also very much agree. Omega, for example. If you haven't already seen him. Justin says, do you think Cena will be in the Rumble? Possibly, yes. I think he had some star power to it, but I definitely don't see him being a proper contender. And Venom says, do you see Jessamine Duke and the other one? Shafir, yeah. Being brought back for that match? Nope. Lil Fettuccini says, why isn't Sasha and Ronda tag team yet? I'm actually interested in a Shayna versus Ronda match. They are a tag team, and in fact they wrestled on this week's SmackDown. We are caught up on the chat, which means we get our first piece of news. I'm here to have a quick drink. I'll get to you very shortly, Venom. So, please remember, as always, as we jump into the news, there are 119 people currently watching this stream. Only 36 have clicked that thumbs up. Please remember, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. We are currently on 1,873 subscribers. What I'd love is to get it to 1,880. If we can get to 1,900 by the end of the year, Tom Colohue is a very happy boy. Let's start by talking about the plans for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair is in a very treacherous position right now because there is a huge collection of women orbiting around her in a way that is a massive risk to her and to her championship reign. Tonight on Raw, we will see Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for a championship opportunity, likely before the end of the year, not for Royal Rumble, at the gold currently held by Bianca Belair. They are currently teasing a feud between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley that they have been planning for a very long time. In addition to this, Alexa Bliss is not out of the running. There is talk of a character change for Alexa Bliss, though it is unlikely that it will be entirely led by Bray Wyatt. I do feel it is still a case that someone else will be the heel against Alexa Bliss in getting revenge for Bray Wyatt. I don't think Bray Wyatt can himself get revenge on Alexa, and I don't think he's trying to sort of win her back, personally. So, I don't know how tonight's going to go, and that's exciting to me. That said, it will tell us a lot about what is coming, because the WWE are still working on Bayley versus Becky Lynch, and there is plenty of ideas as to how they're going to make it happen. Bayley versus Becky Lynch is going to happen, and it is going to happen soon. They are currently still trying to work out whether it could be a non-title match at WrestleMania Or in fact, if Bayley could win the match against Alexa Bliss, beat Bianca Belair, and then defend the championship against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. So, they are very much unsure. Charlotte Flair is also expected back in time for the Royal Rumble, and there are certainly rumours about a match between Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. This, however, would leave Rhea Ripley out of the question. I have been told, and I'll repeat what I said on Friday, that we are closer now than we have ever been to a 4 horsewomen fatal 4-way, but that would be a non-title match. The Raw Women's Championship is up in the air. Bianca Belair will likely make it to WrestleMania intact, but they have not decided just yet what the actual WrestleMania matches will be. Basically, thank you very kindly, Horsey, firstly, for your second month as a channel supporter. Pardon me. And secondly, for that very generous donation. I very much appreciate it. Thank you kindly. It says, keep warm, mate, so I continue amazing content. I will top up my gas, sir, and I'll make sure to keep warm. I mean, that's what the one's is for. The heating's on right now. But my God, is it very expensive to heat a house right now. As regards what they are doing at the moment with Rhea Ripley, with Bayley, with Becky Lynch, with Alexa Bliss, with Asuka, they are seeing what the fans respond to the strongest. If the fans get behind a change in dynamic for Asuka, then a Royal Rumble match between Asuka and Bianca Belair is not an impossibility. That said, with everything that's been happening to Damage Control, Bayley needs a win. That win is coming. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Bayley defeat Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Still plenty of news to come, but let's catch up on the chat a little further. Venom says, why is it not good for New Day? Kofi broke the record and they are Triple Crown champs now. Because I believe it defines them down a little bit. They are no competition for the Usos, this has been proven, so they have to go down to NXT to win the championships. Don't get me wrong, they continue to break records and that's a very, very good thing for them individually, but I do feel it makes them look like they can't compete at the main roster. Hopefully not. I don't imagine it's going to be a long-term thing, and it's certainly a big boost for the NXT division. But when I look at Apollo Crews as a perfect example here, his move down to NXT just made it look like he ran away. Spider-Boss says, it's difficult to see the SmackDown Women's division every Friday. I appreciate Ronda doing the best she can to put over the women's division of her brand. Justin says Tegan has it. Certainly a good start. Lil Fettuccine says, what are you drinking? It's Pepsi. It's Pepsi. It's heavy on the sugar Pepsi as well. Riley says, I also like Tegan Nox and Liv as a tag team. Hope they get the tag titles because I can't stand Ronda. She crap. Wow, strong words there, Riley. Strong words. I'm very happy with them as a tag team. I liked the teamwork that they did, even though it was a very short match. I like the chemistry they have. I think we could really see something work there. Sean Island says, when I see Tegan Nox, I automatically think world champion. Horsey says, hi, Tom. Hey, mate. Hector says, in all honesty, Tom, is there a reason you think WWE to this point hasn't had their own channel on cable like the WWE channel? I feel like it could be risky but good long-term plan, but that's my thoughts. To be fair, the NRA has its own TV station. The WWE certainly could. That said, the WWE network was with a view to that, but they simply didn't get the subscribers they were hoping for. In the end, I think they peaked at about 1.6 million, which simply wasn't enough, and they'd rather have the money now. Ben says, I guess, because NXT is kind of like a demotion, but it helps NXT and the New Day aren't beating the Usos, so I get it. Rodriguez says, John Cena should have his last or semi-final match versus Randy Orton. Wouldn't hate it, but also like it against AJ Styles. Christoph says, I just got the news. SmackDown last Friday did over 2 million. Personally, I found the show was very mid. I agree, but usually viewership isn't based on the show that you're watching, it's based on the show the week before. If people were really excited about SmackDown last week, they'll remember to watch it next week. Eddie says, New Japan wrestlers at both Royal Rumble? Maybe. Spider-Boss says, Alexa teased to Sister Abigail to do Sister Abigail during her triple threat match last Monday. Indeed, she did. There is very strong teases for that change of character. It'd be more interesting, I feel, if it's Asuka, but I do feel it will only be one of them. Ed says, any thoughts on the massive amounts of Asuka posting pictures of her in the Kana makeup on her Twitter lately? As I say, a lot of this is throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, seeing what the audience are connecting to, and that is the way that Triple H is looking to make his next decision as to who is going to be, the villain here. It looks like we're going to get a lot of women's feuds over the next few months, quite a few main events of Raws, potentially a couple of SmackDowns, and honestly, I'm here for it. Lil Fettuccini says, I think it's time to turn Belair heel, but that will probably never happen. I'd like to see the Street Profits turn heel. I don't think if Montez Ford turns heel, we could see Bianca go heel with him, even though they've had a tenuous connection so far, and I like that. I do think there's a lot that they could play with there. Michael says, I think Alexa needs to win tonight. I don't see her beating Bianca Belair. That's the issue that I've got. So if, for example, tonight Alexa Bliss turns heel in order to beat Bayley and then goes on to make a few threats, have a few promos, and then lose the match to Bianca, I don't know. I don't think it really solidifies it. Venom says, ever since I found this channel, I've got nothing but legitimate news reporting and actual results, not just people rambling on about rumours, about stuff they say is going to happen that never does. I try my best, Venom. I know that I do have moments of speculation here. Sometimes I raise a news report someone else has reported and I just talk about it. But I like to think it's a fun channel. I like to think we have a good laugh here. Horsey says, did you hear Conan say Punk and WWE are talking? No, and to my knowledge, they ain't. Richard says, I'm actually more excited for Rhea and Bianca than the Four Horsewomen or anything with them in the title picture. Spider-Boss says, I think Alexa wins tonight after Becky costs the match to Bayley. Certainly, I don't necessarily see Becky doing that because of the heel element there. It would be very heelish for her to do that. That said, Damage Control do have a habit of getting in their own way. Michael says, 20 days until January, but I'm not counting, just wanting to point that out. I see your Twitter, mate. I know what you do. 23 Fresh says, will Val Venus return to the Rumble? Hell no. Christoph says, when you say Four Horsewomen WrestleMania match, you mean Fatal 4-Way? Yes, I do. Alex says, is there a possibility we see Edge and Beth versus Finn and Rhea at Mania? Yes, there is. Though I do feel we are more likely to see Ray versus Dom at WrestleMania as well. Venom says, I hope you don't stop this YouTube channel, Tom, because the day you do is a day we all lose hope for legitimate wrestling news reporting. Bit much there, Venom. A lot of people do good work. I said do. I'm not intending to stop this YouTube channel. I don't see any reason to. I'm very happy with what we're doing here. And if you're happy with what we're doing here, please remember to give the show a like. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe. You'll get more stuff. It'll be great. Joey says, I hope they do Rhea and Bianca at Mania. I don't want to see Charlotte again. You will see Charlotte again. She just won't be involved in that match. Justin says, Alexa going back heel is what is needed in my opinion. Jonathan says, to back up on that horsey, I did hear the podcast Conan saying Punk wants to go back to WWE. I guess the real question is, does WWE want to deal with him again? Well, it's up to Triple H at this point. Razar says, the Street Profits confronting Judgment Day last week a hint of Rhea versus Bianca happening soon, since Bianca would need backup against Judgment Day? Yes, they are very much teasing at this point in time Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, which I am very, 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 very excited for. Steve says, hi Tom, watching on delay, hope you're grand. Heard a rumour about Brock versus Gunther at Mania, just a rumour, non-zero chance of happening, Mania or not, I want to see it, and we do have something on that. Now firstly, this was first reported by Zero News. When people report things and it comes out somewhere else, I am certainly not going to sit here and say, oh, it's all wrestling news reporting it. Nope. 100%. This was reported by Zero News. Saw it. It was brought here. Like I say, you've got to track when they get things right. You've got to track when they get things wrong. This has certainly been endorsed by someone else now, so we need to start paying a little bit of attention to it and see if it actually happens. I still don't personally see it. I think Bobby Lashley will get the shot against Brock Lesnar. I think there's also a possibility that Austin Theory may be involved in that match. And I do think we're more likely to see Drew McIntyre versus Gunther. But at this point in time, what a match that would be for Gunther. That said, if it's going to happen, Brock Lesnar ain't competing for the Intercontinental Championship. He's just not. He's absolutely not going to drop himself to the Intercontinental Championship. So Gunther would have to lose the championship before that. I still think Drew McIntyre is more likely. I have a quick follow-up on Ric Flair, who made comments recently about Seth Rollins ignoring him because of issues that he was having with the man Becky Lynch. All I will say is, yeah, everyone should. Everyone should ignore you, Rick. Nothing you've been saying recently has any value. You're basically just attacking people. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say on that one. That's all I really wanted to say. FDR says the road to Mania next year is very exciting for sure, with all these possible matchups across all divisions. They've added enough people that everything is suddenly very intriguing, and I like that. Noob says, I hope a character change for Asuka is the right direction for her, because it's going to be interesting for her to do. Backward says, heating is so very expensive here in Canada, so I feel your pain. Yeah, but heating bills here exploded. If I leave the heating on, I'll spend £10 in a day. Spider-Boss says, I hope Damage Control make it into WrestleMania with the women's tag team titles. I'm confident they'll be competing for the titles one way or the other. Kelvin says, Becky Lynch versus Bayley makes sense for the Rumble, waiting for WrestleMania. They are certainly teasing the feud now, which would make sense for the Rumble rather than Mania. But it does depend who wins the match tonight. Will it be for a championship or not? The WWE do have a habit of planning big matches and then thinking, no, but they need a bell. They need a bell. Yes, Michael, the Fatal 4-Way is still a possibility, though as I have said and as I will say, it is in discussion at the moment. No guarantees, and I just want to make that very, very clear. I can't sit here and say, this is definitely happening, but I can sit here and say, creative team have been talking about it. Sean says, I say Alexa needs a win more than Bayley. Do we need another Bayley-Bianca match? And Becky could also get involved and cost Bayley the match. I don't think we need another Bayley-Bianca match. In fact, if we get one, I'm pretty sure she's going to win the championship, because why else would they even have it now? Kevin says, if somebody shows Triple H a petition about what match needs to be WrestleMania, Charlotte versus Bianca or Rhea versus Bianca, well, here's the thing. A lot of people in here are saying, when Charlotte comes back, she'll be a face. Don't sound like it, do it. Mahesh said, is The Rock coming? Not right now, no. I mean, I don't know what he and his wife are up to, so maybe. I don't want to share those sort of details. I mean, would you call that a spoiler if I can actually detect whether or not The Rock is coming at this moment? If so, I don't want that superpower. That said, it would mean that right now I'd be hearing him saying, what can I say except you're welcome? And she would be. Or he, I'm not one to judge. Kieran says, yo Kieran. Eric says, hi Tom, news on a possible Brock Gunter match at Mania. I've literally just gone into that, Eric. I have heard reports from it. Zero News first to report it. Got to be honest on that one. We are tracking Zero News to see if they're credible. This has been reported by Wrestling News Co. now, but Zero News got there first, so we'll see if it happens, but we'll track it. I still think it's more likely we get Gunter versus Drew McIntyre, because I just can't see what else Drew McIntyre is going to do at Mania. We'll see how it plays out. Rodriguez says, I'd like to see Rey Mysterio heel. That will be interesting. I don't see it. At this point, I do think WrestleMania is going to be Dom retiring Rey. Thank you very much for subscribing on the YouTube side, Juan. Great to see you. Welcome to the show. Spoiler warnings every Monday and Friday. You can see it right there. We also do watch parties for SmackDown as well, so please stick around. Alex says, I hate trains in this weather because mine is delayed. Yep, horrible thing. Horrible thing. Rodriguez says, is Cody returning soon? Yep. Venom says, the amount of times I had to hear about people saying Bray is coming back at every pay-per-view, then when it came across you and you hinted it, it actually happens. To be fair, Venom, for months, I sat here and I said, no, Bray's not coming back. Nope, Bray's not coming back. Bray's not coming back at this AEW pay-per-view. He's not coming back at this WWE pay-per-view. He's not coming back here. He's not coming back here. Then I report that Bray Wyatt has signed a new deal with the WWE. I was the only person to report it right before Extreme Rules. It's still live. The video's still available. You can check it out. Where I say, yep, contract's been signed. He's on his way back. And then here comes Extreme Rules. And there he is. Spider-Boss says, could Rey Mysterio versus Dominic be Rey's last match? Yep. Venom says he's the only one to trust Tom. Too many people who have no idea what they're saying. Thank you kindly. Rodriguez says Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai at WrestleMania. I think Tegan Nox is more likely to be in the tag match with Liv Morgan. And I'd be happy with that. Very happy with that. It would also mean they get more time. Aled says Zero News also reported Rock versus Roman and Seth versus Cody at WrestleMania, so I don't know what to think, because Cody Roman has to happen. Well, Aled, I did see Zero News report about the Roman Reigns doing double duty, but it's worth pointing out it was a month after I reported it. Christoph says 4 Horsewomen Fatal 4-Way will be the ultimate dream match in the history of women's wrestling, but in my opinion it should be for the title, otherwise what's the point? Well, to basically say who's the best, first and foremost, but I get what you're saying, and it's a fair comment, though I do feel if there's going to be Bianca versus Rhea, that should be for the championship, but the 4 Horsewomen would likely get more star billing. Sean, my thoughts on New Day becoming Triple Crown Tag Champs. Great achievement for them. I do feel they and the Usos are joined for the best tag team ever in wrestling. Just they've done amazing work and been super entertaining. Though I do feel it's sort of... they've dropped away from the Usos with this choice. Dylan says it sounds like you want to say more about Ric Flair. Maybe I do, and maybe I don't want to get sued. There are people who I talk about who you guys know. You guys know I know more than I let on. You guys know that. There is a certain name that most of you will be fully aware of that I know comment on a number of occasions, and I will continue to do so for a reason. Fresh says, is Hulk Hogan going to have a final match? Yes, it has already happened. Spiderball says, could be Sami Zayn's big day. The bloodline kicking out Sami. I hope not. For me, it's still a bit too soon. A bit too raw, if you'll forgive the pun. Spiderball said, could be Sami Zayn's big day. I've already read that one. Peter says, you forgot the woo the Ric Flair statement. I did not. Screw the woo. Sai says Ric Flair has become a parody of himself, and it's sad to watch. Every time he opens his mouth, he undoes his in-ring work spanning years and years. Terrible shame. Agreed. Joey says, who does Austin Theory defend the US title against if it's not Cena? I think it will be Cena, personally. I don't know if he's going to have the US title all the way through into it, but I think there's a couple of different possibilities. I'd love it if Miro could come back, personally. Rodriguez says, I hope they start booking Xylee more. She's good, but they're wasting it. She has so much potential. I don't think it's impossible she gets a shot against Ronda, just not right now. Certainly they're working on different people. Shotzi, Raquel. They are working on a number of different people to try and develop that women's division. As I have reported previously, and people really did not like this one, Ronda Rousey has been put in the position of being the man of the women's division on SmackDown, as in everyone orbits around her. Gil says, Tom, I did not expect to hear about The Rock coming today. I have no words. What can I say except you're welcome? Venom says, I want Bayley to face Bianca just so Becky can take the belt from Bayley. Certainly a possibility there. They've opened a lot of different options. Spider Boss says, Andrade's friend Rush got suspended by AEW after he attacked his rivals on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. That certainly suggests that that's kayfabe. Carmelina says, do you think that the Usos will ever go against each other in a match? No. Though I would love to see it one day just randomly. Just why not? Right. Kamara, I'm going to go ahead and just ignore what you're saying there for a good reason. Jermaine says, before Dominic retires Rey Mysterio, we must get Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar first. Well, first we got Rey Mysterio versus Karrion Kross, so we'll see how it goes. Christoph says, going to post the news about the 4 Horsewomen possible plan on my Wrestling Informer account. Because to be honest, you and Billy Batty are the only two sources I really trust. Christoph, going to be really honest there. Billy Batty several times has threatened me, thrown abuse my way, and been an absolute dickhead to me. So, to be clear, if you do associate me and Billy Batty, I am personally offended, because that right there is a disgusting person with the crap he has come out with to me. And I kept receipts. I remember. Kervin says, your thoughts about the Ring of Honor subscribe at a cost for $10 per month. Ridiculous. Not sure. Not sure on that one. I'm not going to be subscribing for the Ring of Honor setup. I've seen what's in there, and it's not enough for me. It's not enough for me. Sean says, I've seen New Day having a short reign. I hope they drop the belts to Briggs and Jensen. That would be cool. Kevin, just one final thought on that one for Ring of Honor. It suggests to me that they don't have a TV deal sorted because they're trying to make money off content that they could be selling. Dylan says, spit my drink out, the Hulk Hogan bit was not prepared. Well, he's already had it. I didn't think that was that funny. I thought the Rock thing was better. Hector says, on the flip side, where do you see Pretty Deadly going from here? Maybe a call-up. A lot of call-ups have been cancelled recently. I just don't trust that there are call-ups coming at this point in time. Venom says, imagine a Cena versus Orton feud in today's WWE. Sadly, I don't see it ever happening. Not at this point, no. No real value to it. Spider-Boss says, I always thought Ric Flair complained about Charlotte's booking while he was in WWE, knowing Charlotte had been always in the title picture. He did, yeah. Alex says, has Ronda versus Becky been talked for Mania? Yes. Yes. Since WrestleMania last year, they've been talking about Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch for this year's WrestleMania. They have not stopped. They've not shut up about it. Rodriguez says, Joe Coffey and Mark and Wolfgang fired from the WWE? Not to my knowledge, no. And Marcel says, I'll check it later. Have a nice evening. And you too, Marcel. Great to see you, mate. Hope you feel better soon. Go says, Tatanka and Ric Flair have both revealed to be invited to Raw's Triple X. Do you see Raw's Triple X being like the 25th anniversary of an influx of legends? Yeah, and I don't see them doing much either. Venom says, she can keep telling herself the only reason that is because Charlotte and Sasha aren't there to slap her all over the place. If this is referring to me saying about Ronda being the man on SmackDown, Triple H is the one who's telling her that. Triple H. Thank you, Dylan. I try my best. The sarcasm is a trait of mine that I like to bring in. I do realise, by the way, quite often to a lot of you, I am very sarcastic. I'm British, and that's me showing respect. Just to be clear. When sometimes you guys ask a question and I'll just sort of deadpan sarcasm it, that is just me showing respect. I do worry sometimes that I'm offending people and then just continue to do it because that's what I do. Noob says, if we're getting Bianca versus Rhea and a 4 horsewomen fatal 4-way, let's throw in Asuka versus Io Sky as well. They are keeping those two apart for a reason. Michael says, any interest in Fandango? Maybe been asked at some point, I don't remember. I want Fashion Files back. Day one is H. I love that. I love the Fashion Files as well. To my knowledge, at this point in time, no real interest. No real interest. I think no real interest from Fandango. Oh, sorry. Fandango. To my knowledge. Christoph says, really sorry to hear this, Tom. I know a heart bill can be sometimes. The source is very accurate, but the man, well, sorry about that, wasn't aware, and got a lot of respect for you. I appreciate that, Christoph. Just wanted to let you know. Just wanted to let you know on that one. And I appreciate you saying that. I'm taking no offense to you personally. But please be aware that, not a nice guy. Sean says it's New Year's Evil where you see Mandy dropping the belt to Roxanne. More likely around Mania time for me. Then Toxic Attraction come up and start grappling with damage control or something like that. That'd be fun. Barry says, I'm very careful with the wrestling news I follow. I follow a select group and believe none of them, so never disappointed, but occasionally pleasantly surprised. I think that's a good approach, Barry. Question everything. Don't automatically believe anything. And to be honest, I say that about here as well. Keep a healthy skepticism. Because your bullshit meter should always be on, you know? I work hard to provide proof and evidence of everything I do. But when I have one source, I tell you I've only got one source. When I don't have the whole picture, I let you know. When I'm speculating, I let you know. And when I don't know, I say, I don't know. No idea. That for me is vital. Vital. Because credibility matters. And part of credibility is admitting when you don't know something. Spider-Man says, Meltzer never learned. Gets his news wrong and he just keeps talking. To be fair, Meltzer's reported a lot of different things over the last few days. Dylan says, cue the Dango theme. Sean says, was it HBK's idea to have NXT go back on the road? Nope, it was Nick Khan's. Michael says, does Voices of Wrestling have a track record of reporting news? Not to my knowledge. Just seen someone post an exclusive about Sasha from them. Was it them who posted it, or was it someone? Was it a trustworthy reposter? Which is a question I never thought I'd be asking, but here we are. Brad, welcome to the show. Thank you kindly for subscribing. We will, of course, continue to have spoiler warning on Mondays and Fridays, and our watch parties on Friday nights for SmackDown. We've got plenty of new content coming, so thank you very kindly, and you'll get plenty of content for yourself as well. Hector says, I don't know if The Price is Right was big over there, but today's former WWE Raw co-host Bob Barker's 99th birthday. Questionable how big it was, but we had our own version of it, which was okay. It was okay. Okay. Gotcha. Venom says, who do you see New Day dropping the titles to? As long as it's not Creed Brothers or Pretty Deadly, I don't care. 6 of the same teams having the title. I do think Creed Brothers are most likely. Be a great match. Alex says, you say everything is on the table, but the question is, does the table have a match at Mania? Actually, yes it does. More on that shortly. King of Cobra says, with the Sasha news, did something change in your previous report, or just Dave being Dave? Nothing has changed from my report. Nothing has changed from my report at all. I continue to report what I know. It is very possible that Dave Meltzer has more information than I do. That is very possible. What we should all be doing as wrestling journalists is working together and communicating. Instead, it's become a for-profit system. It's not free news. And that's when people start attacking each other. Because if I report news accurately, that means a paywall gets less people subscribed to it. So people start going on the attack. Rodriguez says Davenport should join SmackDown or Raw, has a lot of experience, banger matches with Satomura and Mandy Rose. Venom says, any update on Bronson Reed? I remember there were talks on him coming back, but now that just seems to have died down. They may be waiting, pardon me. They may be waiting for the right moment, the right storyline, etc., as they were with Bayley. Or he may just not have signed yet. Jermaine says, I always thought WWE was going to do Rhea Ripley versus Beth Phoenix in a mixed tag match at WrestleMania 39. Still a very clear possibility. Christoph says, Gunther versus Brock is discussing for WrestleMania. Do you think we'll still have the final chapter between Brock and Bobby? Yes, I do. That's what I personally think is more likely. Brad says hi. Hi, Brad. Man City for Life says, was Meltzer telling the truth about Sasha? Once again, he may have more information than I do. He's been doing this for a very long time. I cannot personally verify what he has reported, depending on certain things that he's reported, which I'll get to in just a moment. Brad was a big fan of Drew McIntyre and hopes Edge is at the Rumble. Kervin says, if WWE plan to have the 4 Horsewomen match at WrestleMania, can Becky and Charlotte work professional? Because 2021 real life heat. They worked professionally at Survivor Series, didn't they? When there was a lot more heat. Venom says, I wish you were full-time for a lot of reasons. 1, because I'm sick of these idiots with their fake reports, and 2, I want Raw watch-alongs. Yes, you do. You say it a lot. I appreciate the enthusiasm. Alice says, Jay White should eliminate AJ Styles and Rumble if AJ is in it. DC says, with the supposed agreement of WWE and New Japan, would this be the gateway to starting NXT Asia? Yeah. Stuart says, probably unlikely, but I'd love to see the Creeds versus Damon Kemp and Gable Steveson brother versus brother tag match. Venom says, do you see Samoa Joe going back to WWE anytime soon? Probably. And Brad says, Shayna Ronda would be a good match. Yes, it would. Michael says, quite honestly, the guy who reposted it is a hardcore Sasha fan that can be quite annoying. Unfortunately, Michael, you would know them because you are surrounded by them. To be clear, I'm not saying you're annoying in any way. You know I really like your Twitter. I just wanted to be clear on that one. But when you're a fan of Sasha Banks, you tend to know a lot of people who are also mad Sasha Banks fans. Spider-Boss says, since it's difficult to see AJ Lee back in WWE, good to see AJ Lee in the Hall of Fame. I don't think she'd want to go. And Michael's got the report, says, but Voice of Wrestling says, limited appearance deal on the table with a per appearance fee that would be significantly higher than what New Japan paid for Chris Jericho, would make Banks by far the highest paid Bushy Road contracted wrestler. So what you're saying is she's going to sign for Stardom. Do they say Stardom? Like, they've been clear about the Bushy Road thing there, but... Sorry, Bushy Road. But I have questions about that report. Barry says, pretty deadly, are very good at what they do, entertaining team, not sure if they are capable of doing other characters or styles, which might be needed to be a success on the main roster, which I think is very, very fair. Thomas says, if Cena does a retirement tour, how would you book it? Personally, I'd have him run programs against some of his most famous rivals, and then have a Balor be the one. I like that idea. Good shout for that, I feel. Rodriguez says, I think Big E will... Nope. Venom says, is right about Sasha not coming back at the moment. Double J says, even though Carl Anderson is the New Japan champion, he's a never openweight champion. Could Mercedes Venado be the main catalyst to get a WWE and New Japan partnership, even though it probably is a done deal? More on that very shortly. I will get to in just a moment, once we're definitely clear of our issues with the buffering. Sean says, I've seen that Sean Ross Sapp was doubting what Meltzer reported about Sasha. Brad says, William Regal should go back to NXT. He is. Venom says, I swear to God, if he's right and she's not coming back, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. I swear to God. Brad says, Tommaso Ciampa has been gone a while. 22, Venom is very passionate. Are we back? Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying with me there. Seems like I've had a couple of technical issues there. The actual stream is still flying. It seems like the issue is very much YouTube. And to be honest, I don't know how to fix it. I think we're fine on Twitch at the moment. We're back on YouTube. Okay, we're back. Christoph says, totally agreed with you. I started to work as a reporter for the Wrestling News Update on Twitter. No competition for me. Twitter is big enough for all of us to have our own audience, right? Yep, should be. Sai says, we're back. Jonathan Rodriguez says, otherwise. Still seem to be having some issues, I will say that. Horsey says, was gutted over Regal ending his podcast, but understand. Yeah, that was the clearest sign that he was leaving. The clearest one of all. Michael says, I've muted so many Sasha fans, so many are super annoying. Unfortunately so, yes. Now, guys, can you confirm for me whether we are working on YouTube or not right now? Because it suggests that we are, but also it's giving me an error message. It says open widget to fix it, but I open the widget and what it says is error. And that's it. Which, you know, real helpful. My stream status is put. My stream status has just gone excellent. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Brilliant. Yeah, it definitely is YouTube today. I have been having some internet issues due to the weather. I do apologize for it. It's very, very difficult for me to be able to fix it at the moment. I do think there are some internet issues, so I'm on the phone to my provider. I'll try and get it sorted and go from there. Thanks, guys, for the clarification and letting me know. I really do appreciate it. Right, okay. What's left? We're on to Meltzer. So, Dave Meltzer has reported a number of different things about Sasha Banks over the last few days. First, he reported that she wasn't going to be at New Japan. Then he followed by reporting that she was going to be at New Japan, but that meant she was done with WWE. Now, if you remember, a week or so ago, I did report that come January, if Sasha Banks hadn't signed a new deal, my expectation is that she would be going to a free agency. This seems to be exactly what Dave Meltzer is reporting at the moment, that, oh, it looks like she's done with WWE. However, I have updated my information since, and you guys are aware of that, because on Friday, I did report that there was a working arrangement in place between the WWE and New Japan. Now, I'm going to be clear. I do not know if Sasha Banks is part of this new working relationship between New Japan and WWE. But, given that there is a working partnership, and it's been reported 3 days after the Sasha Banks news that Carl Anderson will also be at Wrestle Kingdom, and it's being reported by the same source. Here's a piece of information to remember. The same source is reporting that 2 WWE contracted wrestlers are going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. This further suggests, to me at least, that Sasha Banks is going to be signing that new deal with the WWE under the agreement that she can work in Wrestle Kingdom, or at least in Japan. A bit of a tour of the islands, as it were, if you'll forgive the New Japan reference. The fact that we've just had this report out about Carl Anderson working Wrestle Kingdom from the same source 2 days after the report about Sasha Banks at Wrestle Kingdom suggests to me that it is the same source feeding the same information about the same thing. As I've said, there is now in place a strong working arrangement between the WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling. The WWE have made their offerings, New Japan have made theirs, and we will be going ahead with this. I expect Sasha Banks to return to the WWE. To be clear, I expect, it's my opinion, but the news about the New Japan working arrangement is a report, and it's a report you're going to be hearing a lot of today, tomorrow, etc. But remember, I reported it on Friday. Ronda Rousey is making a beeline for the Tag Team Championships. Her tag team with Shayna Baszler will start to take in those championships. I suspect they may get involved with the Damage Control versus Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox match that is expected for this week's SmackDown. After all, they need some new challenges, and they just lost a match to Liv and Tegan Nox this week. They are officially, in internal listings, part of the tag division at this point in time, though Ronda Rousey is still separately part of the singles section, so that she will still have her own individual championship defenses. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will be competing for tag team championships before WrestleMania, or in fact at WrestleMania, as was first reported right here. Roman Reigns is returning ahead of schedule. He was originally expected to be out for the rest of the year, but he is being brought back for a segment with Sami Zayn. What I will say is that the writing team, the creative team, are very excited about this particular segment. Very excited indeed. And as a result of that, I am very excited about this particular segment between Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, and Sami Zayn. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it may involve some extreme level oosiness. Extreme level oosiness. We will find out pretty clearly if anything has gone wrong with Roman, if he does have a burst eardrum. I suspect WWE brought him back as a response to the report that he has a ruptured eardrum. We'll see what happens come SmackDown. And I do want to share some information about my plans for the channel. Now, as you've seen, breaking news is coming out via shorts. We have news from Spoiler Warning, which is exclusive news. Only Spoiler Warning has exclusive news. So if you're not watching Spoiler Warning, the only breaking news you'll get is from other people. I'll try and reiterate some of what I've already said at Spoiler Warning, but the exclusive news will be staying here. The watch parties for SmackDown and live pay-per-views are doing extremely well and are our best performing videos for gaining new subscribers and new viewership, etc. I'm just doing very good work with the titles, it seems, for those. And in addition to that, I have been adding regular videos examining more information. So I looked at who's going to win the Royal Rumble. I did the massive breakdown of accusations and allegations against Vince McMahon. And I do suspect we're going to be continuing with a video every Wednesday. We do have a Mania match card prediction coming, a Royal Rumble match card prediction, and where I don't necessarily have anything particular or any particular ideas there, what I'm going to do, and this might not be for you guys, just to be clear, I'm going to do what I'm referring to as growth content. So things that will bring people in. Not necessarily clickbaity, but videos that I've seen do well elsewhere, that I have more information to share on, that I can enhance, and so on and so forth. For example, when I worked at Sportskeeda, they did very well with a video like 10 things you didn't know about The Undertaker. I know a bit more. So, for example, I could do something about things you don't know about The Undertaker and just break down a lot more in that. When I say growth content, that's the plan there. It will be quite in-depth. It will bring more people to the channel. It will bring more people to Spoiler Warning. And it will get me closer to going full time. Just to be clear on that one, it will be a big help to the channel. Even though it may be stuff that you guys already know. For example, the Vince McMahon video, you likely already know a lot of that. But it is helping the channel grow. It is still getting a lot of viewership. And it is still growing the channel. So we will be looking into some of that as well as the year goes on. Spider-Boss says, I blocked many Sasha Banks fans, so many of them are annoying and attack me for putting off a spoiler warning. Dylan says, Tour of the Islands, Jeff Cobb, and I see what you did there. Spider-Boss says, PWInsider reported the same news that appears on Spoiler Warning. Sean says, do you think this segment leads to new titles being introduced? Maybe, that is certainly what's being suggested. Dylan says top 10 lists are fun. Yeah, absolutely. And why not the occasional list? Why not? Spider-Boss says, when Sasha returns to WWE, could you do a special video like that video about Bray's return? I will be doing so, yes. There will be. On the members only section, if you are a channel member or you're a channel supporter, and you can become one for as little as $1 a month, so $12 a year, you will get access to certain in-depth videos. I did a pretty substantial breakdown on everything I knew and when about the return of Bray Wyatt, date by date, source by source. So if you want more information about my process, become a channel member and you'll be able to check that out. I know quite a few people who have given gift memberships to the YouTube side, because that is something you can do. You can give donations as well. It all goes into the fund for making me a full-time pro wrestling journalist, and I do appreciate everyone who has been so giving. Hector says, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Vice documentary on Vince McMahon premiering tomorrow night? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's going to go too in-depth, and there's a reason I wanted to get my video out first. Spider-Boss says, awesome video about Vince. Congratulations to Tom. Thank you, Spider-Boss. I appreciate that. And Sean says, what match do you think main events tonight? I would imagine it's going to be Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Thank you kindly, Dylan, for becoming a member over on the YouTube side. I very much appreciate it. Double support indeed, sir. Thank you kindly for continuing to support. I do see, even though I know you're not always jumping in and chatting away, I do see that you've been subscribing on the Twitch side for 17 months. You've never wavered. Never wavered. That sort of support is a huge help to me, particularly in days when things aren't going my way. Particularly in days where things aren't going my way. So I am very, very grateful for it. That says, anything announced for Seth tonight, Tom? Not to my knowledge, though for the last hour and a quarter I've been streaming, so I haven't been checking. Venom says, do you think Samoa Joe will join the Bloodline if he was to come back? Nope. Alex says, could we see New Japan superstars on WWE TV? If you don't know what that means, it means everything is on the table. Rodriguez says they should change Wendy Chu's gimmick, probably putting her on a tag with Xia Li when she debuts. I don't see it being called up yet. Rob says, was listening along well in the car, couldn't send this until now. Doing well, always sunny in the Tom Colohue fan club Florida chapter. I like Florida. I've been to Florida, particularly around Oviedo, which was a great place, and I really enjoyed it. Venom says, how about she focus on defending the one she has? It's not up to her what matches she wrestles. Venom. She gets told what to do. Rizal says, making a guess, we see Kairi Sane in the Royal Rumble this year. What do you think? I definitely think that's a possibility, and I would love to see it. After all, she has been integral to the NXT Asia concept. It hasn't been launched yet, but as I said, part of William Regal's job will be to make that happen. Venom says, I want a Raw watch along and I want you to go full time. I know, mate. I'd love it too. That says, when this whole Sasha fiasco is over, you can do a deep dive on the last 4 years. I can. Venom says, I want the tag belts separate, not a unified belt. Raw and SmackDown need their own set of belts. I do agree with you there. I absolutely agree. Dom says, who would you pick for a promo? Mankind, Bray Wyatt, or Raven? Bray Wyatt. Though I would like him to actually win a feud at some point. Alex says, Seth versus Lashley #1 contenders match for the US title announced last week. Thank you for the reminder there, Alex. Yes, it was. And they reminded us on Friday's SmackDown. Thomas. No. That says, how much are memberships in pounds, Tom? It is converted, so it is £1 membership for channel support and £5 membership for channel member. They are two different tiers, but you get access to the same thing. Basically, I don't want to sort of price people out of anything. So it's basically what you can spare. One of the reasons I was working so hard to monetize YouTube is that, like, one of the reasons you don't hear me talk about channel membership all that much is because ultimately, for me, I don't want to take money from your pocket that you may need. So I could take ad revenue. That's certainly easy enough. I'm very grateful for all of the support, and in my head, I'll be paying all of you back however I can. But that's why I don't push it too much. So the reason I have the free tiers is so that spare what you can. Please don't overgift. And thank you everyone who has been incredibly generous so far. Venom says, Bobby versus Seth announced tonight. Thomas, you are doing dirty things and you know it. Dylan says, only if they play Suzuki's entire theme, don't want another incident. Can't say Nina. Oh, I love it. Oh, that really caused problems in AEW. That caused serious problems backstage. Kieran says, imagine if they have to deal. So if they have the deal, so Carl wrestles at Wrestle Kingdom, but WWE gets someone to wrestle at WrestleMania, someone like Jay White to wrestle Seth or AJ. And Dom says, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And please don't. We've 50 likes so far, which is a great number and a real help. Christoph says, sorry, Tom, couldn't answer your reply on my last message because the channel was bugging. Yeah, we did have a bit of a brief issue, Christoph. Sorry about that. If you have missed anything, it will all still be there. You'll see a lot of me going, crap. Which will be happening a lot. Like a lot. Simon says, do you see Sasha in the Rumble? You know what you're doing there, Simon, and you know I'm not going to answer you. Venom says, imagine if we could get Sasha on the live with you, Tom. That would get so many new subscribers and views. It would. It will never happen. Never happen. And Richard says, Candice and EO have been announced for tonight. Fingers crossed they're given the proper time. Their battles are amazing. They do have some pretty intense history indeed. Ow, I just jabbed my toe on the table. Ow. Spider Boss, it's not fair. You know better. Dylan says, table, which Roman is the head of. I am the table. He is. He is the table. He is all the table. Daz, thank you kindly. Just becoming a channel supporter. Really huge thanks to everyone. These memberships go a long way. And as silly as it sounds, I'm trying to save enough money for a mortgage now. Because I don't own this house. I'm trying to save enough money for a mortgage. But I am struggling to do so because the price of everything is going up. I'm surviving because of this channel. This channel is having a huge impact on my intake. But a lot of it isn't just ad revenue. It's you guys becoming channel members. It's the donations. And it's hard to be able to say, oh, I'll be able to have this money regularly. Because I won't. Only channel memberships do that. Only channel memberships. Thank you, Aled, for following on the Twitch side as well. I do appreciate that also. You will also get notifications every time we go live for Spoiler Warning 2 via the Twitch side. It sends out an email, which is very handy and something that I don't believe YouTube does. So, like, combined, they'd be a great service. A great service. But yeah, it's unreliable income, which means that a bank will look at my bank statements and be like, haha, no. Which is frustrating. But when it comes to channel memberships, once you reach a certain level of channel memberships, it becomes regular income, which is great. And then your bank looks at your bank statements and goes, ooh, which would be lovely. Lovely. So thank you, everyone, for that. And thank you, everyone who gifts subs and donates and follows and watches. Thank you, everyone who watches. Whether you're on Twitch or you're on YouTube, if you watch, you are advertising. Every time that viewership ticks up by 1, every single time, it means someone is going to look at this video, see, oh, there's 100 people on that. There must be something good happening, and choose to give us a chance. Every single person watching, every single comment, every single like, it all works together holistically. It's why I've gained another 4 subscribers while this show has been ongoing. Thank you. I literally will never say it enough. Thank you. Spider-Boss says, if Sasha ever has an interview like the one with that Cristiano did, I hope Spoiler Warning gets the interview. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Ooh. Dylan, thank you kindly for gifting a sub to Sean. Thank you kindly, sir. I hope no one felt guilty by that little speech I just did. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Spider-Boss says, if you could interview any of the 4 horsewomen, who would it be? Would it be Becky? Becky has always been my personal favourite, I believe, because of my my Northern Irish roots. Not quite Irish, but close enough for me. Ooh. Simon, oh, Aled says, did you get any snow, Tom? We got a lot of snow. I have not fallen over, but I've had a few wobbles. My partner, Tiny Arms, I just refer to her as Tiny Arms. You guys know why, internet anonymity and all that. Like, there's enough people who hate me already that I don't want to direct it at my family. She was able to fall into a perfect roll. I hated her. I didn't see it. I heard about it from her kids, who also hated her in that moment. We all should hate her in that moment. All of us. Simon says, yeah, that's the match we've got. Venom says, can you do a live on Wednesday? Why would I? What news do I have? I should point out, when it comes to full time, my plan is to have multiple channels and do, let's say, 10 hours a week on each. So this is obviously the wrestling channel, also gaming channel, football, potentially others as well as it goes on. that I'm still experimenting with as it goes. So we'd add the Raw watch along to this channel. That would pretty much be it in terms of additions, because if I'm doing a live show every single night, I'd have no questions left, you know? So I'd be thinking about that. I'd be considering the different possibilities, but I don't think I'd personally be going for it. You know? Rodriguez says, is Batista ever coming back? Yep, but probably not to wrestle. Venom says, why could we never get Sasha on the live review, Tom? Couldn't you just ask her? She might say yes. I can't email Sasha Banks, mate. I don't have her address. Isaac says, hey, Tom. Hey, Isaac. Christoph says, predictions for Seth versus Bobby tonight. So great to have matches where the result is so unpredictable. I think it'll be Bobby, so that they can have a one-on-one, he and Austin Theory, but I still think Seth's going to get involved because it's Seth. Dom says, would you happen to know if Austin Aries was that hard to work with backstage, or just people spreading bad rumours? No comment. Venom, I have not met or interviewed Sasha. I've interviewed a number of other people, but not Sasha. I've interviewed Triple H a few times. DC says, Matt Cardona just posted on Twitter his Royal Rumble intro. Interesting. Alex says, we didn't get any snow in Wales, but now I'm in England and there's a lot. Yeah, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. Fair enough, Venom. Just once more, Tom. Just once more. Tom. Simon says, could we get Liv versus Sasha next year? Possibly. Well, it depends on Sasha Banks signing a new deal also. Simon, I'm assuming you mean Raw and not, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I don't think Liv is getting drafted to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Personally. Sean says, I couldn't imagine people hating you, Tom. You're a great guy. Thank you, Sean. That is really nice of you to say. But people do. Spider-Man says, Sasha versus Kairi at Wrestle Kingdom would be banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. Yeah, it would be great, wouldn't it? Oh, Dylan, getcha. Spider-Boss says, Sasha will be on Bayley's IG Live Christmas charity. Yep, and she'll be guaranteed to be a draw. In the Hot Seat Podcast official says, anyone you would like to see get called up from NXT next year? There's actually quite a list. Bron Breakker is definitely one of them. Roxanne, Toxic Attraction. There's quite a list at the moment. I think NXT kind of needs a clear out, and I think there's enough people who can get called up now to make it worth their while. Isaac says, any insight on a WWE show for Australia next year? Still in the making, still under discussion. We will be seeing it eventually. No one here is cyberbullying Ronda Rousey. In fact, she and I quite get on Twitter. Martin says, hey Tom, of all the rumoured returns / debuts, who's the one you're most excited about? It was Bray Wyatt, but it's not quite landed for me. Not quite. At this point, Samoa Joe, though it's not necessarily rumoured. AOP would be fun. Kieran says, I wish it snowed near me. It's not even getting that icy. Rodriguez says, Gunter matches versus Sheamus are bangers always. Well, he does say, and does he not, banger after banger after banger. And that's another spoiler warning after spoiler warning after spoiler warning. Hope everyone is feeling oozy, who, etc. But we are going to... Bloody hell, what happened there? We have 1,881 subscribers. Thank you, everyone. That is quite a return for spoiler warning today, and I really do appreciate it. We are 19 away from 1,900. That is a great place to be. Huge thanks to everyone. We are now going to wrap up. I'll read Dom's last comment. Unless they keep Dexter Loomis with Johnny, I don't know how far Dexter can go with him not talking. He can't just keep staring. True. Very true. Oop, and Iconda says, who's a 2K23 cover star? I can't look past Roman. I can't look past Bianca. With future calls and all returns, well, a pretty bloated roster. We already do have a bloated roster, Isaac. That is what I personally think. Dylan says, great show, mate. Nice to be back. Hope you have a splendid night, Tom. Hope to see you again soon, Dylan. I'll message you after this. I'm probably just mistaken. I do apologise for that, but we'll have a quick chat. Venom says, Sports Entertainer is reporting that, Tom. See what I mean now? What are they reporting now, Venom? What are they reporting now? Christoph says, breaking news from Dave. It'll be raining tomorrow. Still could be a change of plan until then. No, Venom, there'll be a video on Wednesday. There'll be a video on Wednesday, 10 p.m. UK time, so spoiler warning time. There'll be a video. So, check that out. And Stuart says, good night, Tom, and good show. It is 11:30 at night. This is one of the longest spoiler warnings we've ever done. And I think around an hour in, I just chilled out, stopped really worrying so much. With the fact that I have so much news to share, I often feel a bit rushed, but I think this works, you know? I think we can stay nice and chill, let it go a bit longer. I hope you've all had a fantastic time. I hope you all like the format I've gone with there, because I'm planning to keep it. But, as per usual at this point, what I'll say is, I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic. And I'll see you all very soon.